വസ്ത്രം കൊണ്ട് ആളുകളുടെ ക്യാരക്ടർ തിരിച്ചറിയാമെന്നൊക്കെ പറയുന്ന ആളുകൾക്ക് ഒരു കണ്ടം വഴി പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് തുടങ്ങട്ടെ. ലെറ്റ്സ് പ്രൊട്ടസ്റ്റ് all forms of oppression. And let me welcome all you to the session with Mai Khaled. She is a radio presenter, novelist, and dubbing actress and translator. Welcome, ma'am.
Hello everybody. It's very nice to be here in India first time, but I don't think it would be the last, definitely. So I enjoy being among you all, and when we start our talk, we'll get to know each other more and more.
Mai Khaled has written 6 novels, 3 short story collections, and a travel book. And today we'll be discussing her novel, The Magic of Turquoise. And would you like to read from the book first?
Well, actually, we haven't agreed on something, so I opened any page. So, okay. Let's tell them a little about the book so that they know who is talking. Go ahead.
This book is about mainly 2 women, Layla and Nirvana, called as Nunu. Both of them are trying to live their true identities, or trying to find that identity, because in their world they have to show one face to the society, and both of them are artistically inclined, but in that society it's not respectable to study arts or humanities. One is a painter, the other one wants to be an actor, but they have to confine to the norms of patriarchy, and Nunu, it's a doctor.
Yeah.
But in the novel, one interesting aspect is that in her flashback scenes, she is shown as studying medicine. But throughout the novel, it's not shown that she is practicing.
Yeah.
So in some cultures, being a doctor is good for the marriage market, but they are not allowed to practice.
Exactly.
So is it that case with Nirvana also?
Yes, in this novel in particular, it wasn't about the whole society. It was about this family in particular. This family has a certain attraction to doctors, to the magic of the white coat, because doctors had certain impact on them. And they used to respect anybody with a white coat. A doctor at first, a physician, then a pharmacist, than anybody with a white coat. And it's not respectable to be an artist or any other or to have any other job. And they used to have their daughters marry doctors or be doctors themselves. So it's in this family only.
And the title is also very interesting, The Magic of Turquoise. And there's so much blue in the book.
Yes.
All shades of blue. Could you tell us about the title and then read from the book?
Yes. The Magic of Turquoise, it's about a virtual color. It's not really turquoise. It's about the Mediterranean Sea. This family we're speaking about, they used to live in front of the Nile. And they live for a whole month in Alexandria in an apartment overlooking the Mediterranean Sea. And this sea had an impact, a strange impact on them. They loosen their strong norms, strong ideas, and they can make very strange decisions that is not compatible with all the other decisions they take all the year long. So this magic of turquoise, as the protagonist said, might be the thing that affected their mentality, you know. And of course, there are energy and power on the turquoise gem itself, and the protagonist used to do like beads and jewelry, and so this turquoise had some impact on her. Okay, I will read this. Might not be the best thing, but this is how it opened. It's Nirvana who is talking, the elder one. There's an Nirvana is the aunt, and Nunu is the niece. So Nirvana was in a trip in Germany. She's in a coma. She had an accident and she was in a coma. And because she's a doctor, she knew that she was in a coma, but she could not talk for sure. So she treasured these moments to get a flashback of a love story that happened to her 20 years ago when she was in Germany, but it's an unfulfilled love story. She didn't marry the man whom she loved. So this is Nirvana talking. What's wrong, coma? Why have you become disturbed all of a sudden? I liked it when you chose one face and repeated it in different scenes. I would be comfortable living again in that unique house, alone, on the highest peak of the Alps. What brought the faces of Sister Marie-Therese, and Tariq, and Nana Amna, and Nana Ru'ya, her grandmothers? If you have to include all those in your soft scenes, then I beg you, to wait a little and prolong the scenes with Muhammad. Muhammad is the one whom she was in love with. A free day in Füssen after a visit to a doctor's clinic, to the necessary x-rays, and get 2 stitches on the toe of my left foot. Please stop coughing for just a few seconds so I can finish this, the doctor tells me. I was pretending to be sick with the flu to get a prescription for flu medicine from the doctor so that I can give it to Muhammad. He had refused to visit the clinic because he hates doctors. Thank you for that kind compliment, Mr. Ambassador. Have you forgotten that I'm to be a doctor in 2 years? But don't worry, I don't like doctors either. Sad autumn weather envelops the city and makes me unable to resist walking, even if on only 1.5 feet, through this small tourist town and buying souvenirs to remember my visit that day. An outfit made of lilac silk. As soon as I set my eyes on it, I decide to buy it. I will wear it tonight. The weather calls me to wear something soft, a delicate color. I stand next to Muhammad in front of a shop window displaying rings and necklaces and thin bracelets of white gold and 14-karat gold. Muhammad whispers in my ear, "That sapphire ring will be our wedding ring." Don't you see that gold wedding band I'm wearing, as well as the one with the solitaire diamond? The sky grows grey and suddenly spills rivers of water on us. So we rush into the shop to get out of the rain. As I brush the water off my clothes and hair and body, there is thunder and flashes of lightning and glimpses of Muhammad talking to the shopkeeper and pointing to the ring and a blue velvet box. Foreign currency, Deutschmarks, goes from Muhammad's hand to the shop owner. "You must be crazy. I've only known you for a few days." "No, you met me in the autumn, and now here's the winter rain." In seconds, a bright sun comes out, drowning everything. The puddles are sucked into the drains, and the warm rays dry up the rest of the water. And here is the summer too, so I've known you for about 8 months now. Do you understand what this wedding band and this diamond ring mean? I wanted Muhammad to get the direct meaning of my words. At the same time, I was thinking of those diamonds that forced my grandmother to sacrifice some of her land to make up for Tariq's struggling budget in order to purchase an appropriate wedding ring.
You have written that storytelling is my fate, but since I became the puppet of my own self.
Yeah.
So when did you realize that you want to be a storyteller, that you have so many stories to tell? Tell us something about yourself, your background, and how you started writing.
Okay. When I was a child, I didn't think, I didn't like to play with with toys like the other child because of an accident that happened to me. Not necessarily because of this accident, but maybe. One night we had children's visiting us, and in the morning I found my biggest doll with her neck uh, hanging on her chest, and she couldn't tell who killed her, who did this to her. So I decided to be my own doll, and ever since I started to make up stories and to live in characters. And the whole family was helping me with this. My dad used to help me to pretend he's my son, and so many characters throughout my life. And I never ever thought of writing, just adopting other personalities and characters. And I only started thinking of writing when I had another accident when I was at university. My purse was stolen from the bag I was hanging it, and I was in one of the highest universities in Egypt, so it isn't good at all to be stolen in that university. So I've written an article in the university magazine. It was called Beware of Thefts in the Highest University in Egypt. And the editor-in-chief took the article and told me, you will be a reporter. I told her, no, I don't try it. I want, if anything, I would draw and paint in the magazine to be a cartoonist. She said, no, you will be a writer. Then I told my friends, I'll be a writer. Expect the coming issue of the magazine. And nothing came out. Oh, next week, nothing came out. Then the third week, I had written lots of articles, and actually I found myself writing like 3 articles per issue, and I became the editor-in-chief. Then I started writing these like thoughts, like everybody who likes to express himself, writing thoughts. And then it turned into short stories, and then a novel, and all this was in the drawer. Because there was a notion back then that big writers steal the ideas of small writers, of young writers. So don't you ever show your work to a big writer. So how would I be published? How would I tell people about myself? So I kept them for 11 years. Yes, I said I won't show, they would take it. And I got married and I got kids. I went on with my life until a friend of mine, you know, he told me, "What are you doing in your life?" I used to play music and paint. He asked me, "Are you going to do an exhibition, an art exhibition?" I told him, "No, not to this extent." "Are you going to sing and produce an album with your voice?" No, 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 not to this extent. Then he told me, "Then take your writings and go to a publishing house and publish." And I did, and it was a real surprise because I never trusted myself that I'm a real writer. And whenever my friends told me that what I write is good, I said they are making compliments to me because they are my friends. And all of a sudden, I was turned from an ordinary person, regular Egyptian woman, to a famous person, and with my husband coming and asking for lunch. And when I'm doing an interview with a journalist, and I have to excuse from the journalist and tell him, okay, because I have another reporter on the other side, I have to go and prepare lunch for my husband. And then he got used to it, and he's very proud because I'm an Indian now. Okay. I published 10 books, by the way.
And you do dubbing for movies. You were talking about that. That seemed very interesting. How you give different dialects to different characters.
Yes.
Could you tell us about
yes. I do dubbing for Disney and for other American. If you know Ugly Betty, have you ever seen it or heard of it? Ugly Betty, yeah. I was doing Hilda. Yeah, the Egyptian Hilda. This is part, I do a voiceover, and this is something that I do. And the other thing is translating with adaptation to the Egyptian dialect. For example, The Little Mermaid. Have you seen The Little Mermaid with Sebastian and the mermaid. You don't know what Disney? It has a character that is Jamaican. I made this Jamaican character to a Sudanese character because they look alike. And they have a Lebanese cook, for example, a French cook. I turned him to Lebanese with all the different Arabic dialects. This is how adaptation take place, and with the Egyptian colloquial language. I have an interesting story, not very honoring, but you know, in the Little Mermaid, the Ugly Betty, there was this scene of Hilda being in bed with somebody, and I never watched the episodes when they're being dubbed in Arabic. And I was watching TV with my husband, and he was playing with the remote control as usual. And I found Hilda on TV, but it wasn't that scene. Keep it, please, this is me. And all of a sudden, I found Hilda naked with my voice on her. So that was really a shame. But it's really an interesting job, and it helped my daughter as well. My daughter was very shy. I'm not shy. I'm an extrovert, and she's an introvert. So they asked for a little girl to do a role, and she was doing it. Her voice is very nice, but she was doing it in a very low voice and very timid. So the director told her, "No, stronger, do it stronger." And she told them, "Let my mother get out of the studio." So I went out, and it was like a therapy for my daughter. It made her like more an extrovert, and she became a makeup artist afterwards. So it's like really a therapy.
You know, for us, Egypt is a land of so many stories: the pyramids, the mummies, the Sphinx,
Yeah.
River Nile, Cleopatra, a lot of things. But maybe because of not much translations are coming out, they are not that familiar with Egyptian literature.
Yeah.
Now I think a lot of women are writing.
Yeah. A lot of people are writing, like almost everybody. Uh, of course, there is the classical literature. We have Naguib Mahfouz, who won the Nobel Prize. How much time do we have? How much time? 15, oh good. So we have a Nobel laureate, Naguib Mahfouz. He's translated in so many languages.
That is the only thing I guess available in English.
He is
Or
available,
he's
of course, he's available. All his works are available in English by the AUC Press and in many other languages because he's a Nobel laureate. He's very famous. And we have Nawal Sadawi, who is a feminist. She's very famous internationally. And we have a lot of very good writers, and they are translated in English as well. The American University in Cairo is doing, its press is doing a very good job translating all the Arabic, not just the Egyptian, into English, Arabic literature. There is younger generations, after the 60s, almost everybody stopped at the 60s generation. But afterwards came different generations, and there was that expression, some critic said it's called the novel explosion in Egypt, as if an explosion took place in Egypt. A lot of novels came out, and out of these novels there were very good ones, and at the same time there were very confusing ones, because a lot of people, especially the bloggers, anybody who used to do a blog and write things and their friends tell them this is good, this is nice, they take it to a publishing house and they print it out and it becomes a book. And this is very deceiving to the readers, because they always talk about relationships and things that we all like, that happen to all of us. So people like it, but this is not really literature. It's something that we like. It's easily read, And when the audience or the readers come to read real literature with style, with language, they think it's not good because it takes more effort from them. And so we have everything in it. We have real literature that takes prizes. We have in the Arab world the Man Booker Prize. We have the Arabic Booker Prize, which took many Arabic and Egyptian writers to be internationally acclaimed and translated into English. And these books that win prizes, they become bestsellers, which is good somehow. And on the other side, we have these bestsellers books who are easily read, or self-help, or anybody who breaks up with a boyfriend or gets divorced from her husband. She writes a book of how to start over and things like that, and how men are bad, and things like that.
Does religion interfere, or is there any form of censorship?
Yes, there is, but it's more of self-censorship in Egypt, because there are two also categories of writers. Writers who write things that insults religion deliberately to get famous and to get more published and to get banned. When they get banned, they sell more secretly. And other writers who are straightforward, they do the censorship, self-censorship, and write what they write in a secretive way, so that they want people really to write. They are not after fame and being acclaimed abroad. They really want to be read. So they write what they want in a decent literary way, and they can all the time bring their ideas to people, not by insulting and saying obscene words and things like that.
Now we shall move on to questions from the audience.
Any questions about Egypt literature? Writing? Okay.
Nice listening to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And see here, what we would actually we have never been access to the Egyptian literature, but in classics we used to read a lot about classic Egyptian literature, and all,
yes.
especially in Shakespeare and all. And but the society has already changed, right?
Yes, of course.
And I would like to know, you have focused on two women characters in your this particular novel, and it's about the sea also, right? The blue color, the turquoise color, and all. It's about the sea.
No.
Not about
Actually,
the sea.
actually, this is a decorative.
Decorative, right?
Decorative. Thing that I've done.
Okay.
It's a theme. Whenever I write, I use a certain theme that adapts the job of the character or the place where she lives. But it's mainly about the social standards. You know, in this book, I wanted to document the life of a middle-class family, Egyptian family, in the 70s, which after civilization, lots of globalization, after globalization, lots of identities have been, got confused. And I mean by identity, I mean social, I mean geographical, I mean the places has been changed. The beaches in Egypt in the 70s was just like this one. So I felt so nostalgic. I'm gonna take videos and pictures of this beach because they are totally different. They lost their real character. The streets became wide, and yes, they are cleaner and wider, but Alexandria lost its identity. And also, so that's one reason I want to document the place for the coming generations, how Alexandria looked like in the past. And at the same time, it's not all of it praising of Egypt and the Egyptian middle class. They always say that the middle class is the class that keeps the society balanced. It's true somehow, but at the same time, there's a lot of conflicts in this class. They always want to make sure of what things look like, not how people feel. Like the issue that Dr. Shahina has been stating of the family who wanted the kids, the daughters, to marry doctors, no matter if the girl is in love with somebody else or wants to choose another career. Of course, this is not the same nowadays. Nobody can force a younger generation to do anything they don't want. I'm just stating the case in the 70s. So it's a documentation of a period with all its pros and cons. It's not all of it is praising. And in the end, the protagonist, when she was getting out of the coma, and she was advising her niece, telling her stories about herself and about the fallbacks of the middle class through the drawings, through her copybook. She told her, I forgave them for what they did to me, because I knew myself. Because she didn't work as a doctor, she took courses in jewelry, and she started at an old age to do the things that she really liked. And this is the dilemma of many women up till now. Not necessarily because of family traditions of parents, that was of parents, but maybe because of many other circumstances. She might neglect herself to raise the kids, or to please the husband, or anything, or to have a career. I mean, she might be very successful as a career woman, and she makes a lot of money, and all of a sudden she finds herself estranged from what she really wants. So it's all about these things. You would find a lot of Egyptian traditions, things that really, this book, because it's translated in English and German, it took me to different parts of the world, which made me really be totally convinced that we are no different. Very slight differences are between women and the human beings all over the world. There are only minor cultural differences, but the human self is really the same. So whenever we read a novel, or we watch a movie, any movie from India, from America, as long as it's human, we can connect to the protagonist, and we can cry even with them and feel for them.
I just want to ask you one thing. Can you just share something about the war and refugee issues over there in Egypt?
Yeah, in Egypt, it's not like in Germany and the other places. Egypt has always been a recipient of all the Arab neighbors, and even back in the cinema and theater and singing and writing, the most famous Arab singers and movie stars started in Egypt, and we consider ourselves just one thing. So the same applied to the war. Refugees are not considered refugees. They are considered guests, our guests. And we do really love them. We consider anybody who gets in our country an addition to us, an addition to our culture, and we love Syrians very much. We have unity with Syria in the 60s. So when they came, we really liked them, and they came and did lovely projects, and they are part of the society, and lots of shops. And whenever I see a Syrian, I tell them, I wish you could go back to your country, but deep down, I wish that you stay in Egypt. So it's their second country. It's not like we don't have special places for refugees. They just live with us.
Okay, ma'am. It's happy to be here, and I have a question, that the role of women in the Egyptian films. Can you say something about that?
Egyptian films?
Role of women in the Egyptian films.
Yes. This is very misleading as well. I was just telling this to my friend the other day. whenever you want to make a spotlight on a character in a novel or in a film, that character must be strange. That shouldn't be the normal character. I can't go and put the spotlight on a regular woman who goes to work and gets back and raises her children. No, this woman must have done something strange. So she can be, she has loud voice, she can be, sorry to say, a prostitute or anything that's not normal. So it gives sometimes a bad image or a wrong image of Egyptian women, especially in the Arab world, that they, when they try to get close to us and speak our language, they use vulgar language, which is not the language really used in Egypt. When they want to be friendly, you know, like, "Wow, what are you doing?" Things like that. The street women. And this, even the street women don't talk like that. They do it in films so as to exaggerate, and art is about a little bit of exaggeration. So this is how it appears in most films, not all of them, of course. And like مثلا, somebody who committed a crime, things like that. Not all women commit crime, kill their husbands. So when you see a film, a woman who killed her husband, oh, Egyptian women killed their husbands, or they are all street women and things like that. So cinema is misleading to Egyptians, but it has always been Hollywood of the East, of the Arab world. Like, as I said, anybody who wants to get famous in the Arab world comes to Egypt first. So they become stars from Egypt, and we have the biggest film festival in Egypt.
We have a lot of women who are writing in their native tongue, like Elif Shafak or Olga or Han Kang, and their works appear in English and they are read widely and appreciated also. So we hope to read more from you, and thank you so much for traveling all the way from Egypt to be with us. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.